Welcome. So, in this class, we would discuss some of the answers that have been submitted by students and what should be the right way out and how you can improve on your answer writing. So, we'll be just taking some of the demos which have been received as a part of the answer key. So, based on one of the papers, the questions that we have here, the answers have been received and we'll be discussing few of those answers to help you understand what could be the improvements in the answer that you do. So let's talk about some of the questions from the first set of questions here. So the very first question talks about discuss how humanistic theories of personality can bring shift and lead to development in the field of positive psychology. Now, the answer that has been reproduced here is a very good example, we could say, because the student has tried to grasp the concepts of humanistic theories and interrelated to positive psychology. But one of the important thing is, rather than writing it like this is the humanistic theory and this is the positive theory, and then explaining the researches and the works of humanist scholars, it's a good idea to start with what you have written in the third paragraph in the very first go and then introduce the remaining concepts later on. So as a part of positive psychology, the main idea is bringing in self-actualization and bringing in the concept of self, right? So there have been developments which have been mentioned here, but some of the missing topics that we have tried to bring in here is focusing mainly on the global or the holistic perspective. So how this humanistic theory relate to a evolution or a development of individual as a self and bringing in the strengths and the well-being of an individual. So for this, you can also bring in the case studies that we have discussed in our notes. I'll come on to one of the interesting case studies that could be brought in the answer later on. But what is really important and what is one of the major drawbacks of this answer is the answer has been kept separately from the perspective of humanistic scholars as well as positive psychology, rather than bringing it together and explaining the interplay or the interrelationships. Keeping them aside is not a good way of, right? So those are some of the important things that must be highlighted in this answer. The next question talks about theories of attribution. Now, the student here has tried to explain the major theories of attribution, right? So that's really good. But when you are talking about the major theories of attribution, you have actually explained each of the theory, but with a very small go, right? So in the Heidegger's theory, for example, internal and external has been explained. But what is internal, what is external? A quick example of that would help you understand the concept well. Now, when it comes to implication, the implications have been more or less similar. For example, from the Cayley's theory or the Heidegger's theory, the focus is on interpersonal relationship, right? The covariance or the three parameters of Cayley's theory have been given, and the same has been brought for the Bernard-Various theory as well. But again, as we mentioned, the implication has been the same. Even it has been written that there has been birth to fundamental attribution error, but what is actually fundamental attribution error? If you can mention it in 2 or 3 lines, it would be great. Also, how attribution affects the thought process of a psychological or a sociological system, we could say. For example, if there is an attribution biasness, there can be prejudice, there can be stereotypes. Internal conflict leads to external intergroup conflicts, we could say. And then there are cases where you need to explain each of these. For example, the Bernard-Various theory, you have tried to explain it nicely, but again, when it comes to the implication, it's just written that actor-observer effect or self-serving biasness. Now, what is self-serving biasness? Just explain in brief that if you are doing good, you take it because you are intelligent, you have worked hard, you performed good. If you do bad in the exam, you would say that it's because of the external factors, teacher has not taught it, the question was out of syllabus, so on and so forth, right? So it's a self-serving biasness. You are not actually focusing on the weaknesses or the drawbacks and trying to work on it or fix it, but rather you are trying to have a biasness towards yourself and shield yourself. So it's a kind of defense mechanism that you make. So now, to make this answer more relevant, what we would recommend is introduce case studies. So with the study material, as you can see, under the attribution theory, we have discussed the Bernard-Various theory, Heiders and Kahler's theory of attribution. But again, there has been an explanation where you have been given a case study, and this case study is of Richard Hall and Lee, which actually says that why students actually delay the task that could have been done at the first round. So just to bring that into account, it's really important to understand how you represent your answer and start to play with the answer on a very basic term, right? So these kind of things have to be taken into account, and mainly explain the implications differently. The implications from each of the theory should not come up with the same thing or the same global. Obviously the global picture would remain the same, but the key intricacies of each of the theories should actually vary. So those are some of the things that you must take into account. Definitely we'll discuss more questions as we proceed. So this was just few of those. Wish you very good luck, and yes, if you are sending in your answers, I request you to send those as early as possible. Closer to the examination, this could lead to delay in the feedback, and this would be actually difficult for you as well to absorb the changes very close to the exam. Thanks for joining in.